What's up, ladies and gents? This is KSigKid coming at you with another Destiny video. With the Vault of Glass going strong this week, we've got oracles to deal with, so what I wanted to do was go through all of the Vault of Glass weapons and see which one was the best for killing oracles. So there are definitely a lot of little things that we need to talk about in this video. There are a lot of things about oracles that are just a little bit funky. For instance, I knew that one of the number one things that people were going to say was, well, you know what, oracles don't have the same amount of health. And after testing out some stuff, I actually believe them. I believe that is actually true. The longer oracles stay up, apparently, the more health they end up getting. And you'll see that right in the beginning, because we're going to do a few tests. There are some weapons that we're going to test right away, and we're going to see that sometimes you can one-shot an oracle, and sometimes you simply can't. Now for starters, we're going to start off with the Hazen's Vengeance. Now this one is interesting. It's the rocket launcher that you get that also has cluster bombs. As you see, I fired this rocket off, and eventually it does indeed kill the oracle in one shot. Now that was about 0.9 seconds it took for me to get the kill. In this one, I fire it off, and I don't get the kill until roughly 1.9 seconds, because apparently I needed cluster bombs to hit to kill it. So Hazen's Vengeance is definitely not consistent. You'll see right here, I fire it off, and even after waiting for all the cluster bombs, I don't get the kill. So Hazen's Vengeance is definitely not a weapon you would want to count on. The more interesting weapon is the Praetorian Foil, which I believe everybody assumed always one-shot, but you can see right there, it did not one-shot initially. So what I did was ask Blaze to start pre-firing on an oracle we knew was going to come up, and see what happens if we hit it immediately as it spawns in. And right here we're charging, shooting.
Ha! Dig!
And there it goes. We ended up getting
one shot?
Okay, so oracles definitely have a degree of varying health. Keep that in mind as we go through these numbers. These are not hard and steadfast numbers. These are just what I ended up finding out for the various weapons. For starters, we're going to look at the corrective measure. For me, it was 19 bullets in roughly 1.93 seconds. Corrective measure is definitely a really good option. Moving on to the Found Verdict. Found Verdict was yet again another really solid oracle killer. This ended up being even faster than the corrective measure. It was 3 bullets in 1.37 seconds. Full auto shotguns are a really amazing option at this stage where you're fighting oracles. Moving on to our final special weapon, we've got the Praetor's Revenge. This sniper rifle struggled. It could not kill an oracle in one magazine, and because of that, we ended up taking 5 shots in 5.87 seconds. That's not going to cut it. That is simply not going to cut it. Please don't use Praetor's Revenge on the oracles. It won't work out good for you. Moving on to some of our primers, we're going to start off on the popular Fatebringer. So Fatebringer ended up taking down the oracle relatively fast. It was 6 bullets, and we ended up doing that in 3.37 seconds. So you can see that there's definitely a slowdown compared to the special weapons, which I think everybody would imagine. Moving on to our Vision of Confluence, we've got just about the same speed as the Fatebringer. For the Vision of Confluence, it took a few extra bullets. It was 11 bullets, and it took us 3.43 seconds, so just a small bit slower than the Fatebringer. Next up, we've got the Praetor's Timepiece. Now this one ended up shocking me. First off, it did not seem to proc Secret Round. It seemed to hit only 3 burst shots, so keep that in mind. And as far as the bullets and time goes, it was 21 bullets in 2.87 seconds. And again, we were only hitting it 3 times. There was no Secret Round procced. Finally, we have Atheon's Epilogue, and the Epilogue is definitely touted as a big oracle killer. How was it? Well, it ended up taking down our oracle in 40 bullets and 2.7 seconds. So as far as the primary option goes, it looks like the faster rate of fire weapons are simply better. They're better because they end up proccing Oracle Disruptor seemingly more often. So Atheon's Epilogue was better than Praetor's Timepiece, and then Vision and Fatebringer were roughly around the same wheelhouse. Now here's something interesting. So don't go into the raid and immediately say, well, you know what, Fatebringer is better than Vision of Confluence for oracles, because think about it. This is whenever we were definitely staying within the maximum range of the weapon. We weren't far away. What if you were fighting the oracles for Atheon, and you were further away? Well, hand cannons definitely have a more significant drop-off than scout rifles, so in that case, I would imagine that the Vision of Confluence would actually perform better. Similarly, we're looking at the Found Verdict as being one of the best, if not the best and most consistent options, but you've got to be up close and personal for that to work. So if you want to be up close and personal, like I like to be whenever dealing with oracles around here, you might want to have on Found Verdict or any full auto shotgun. Otherwise, your Atheon's Epilogue is definitely your best primary weapon for dealing with the oracles. If you want to rock out a rocket launcher, please don't use your Hazen's Vengeance or Cluster Bomb rocket launchers. Those will simply not work. Something like the Gjallarhorn, that would work because Wolfpack rounds will track around back towards the oracle, whereas Cluster Bombs are just not consistent at all. But we're really not talking about weapons that aren't Vault of Glass related. Just kind of trying to expand and give you guys ideas, just going through your head as you're thinking about this stuff. I know a lot of you are probably thinking about swords. Swords would work as long as you hit the oracles. Please, I can't stress enough, don't use non-Vault of Glass weapons to kill the oracles unless it's something really specific. Like I said, a full auto shotgun, a Gjallarhorn, a sword, something like that. Otherwise, please, please, please do not do that. I was going to show a clip of the Vex because you get the Vex from the raid, but it's simply so bad. Even one full magazine and then reloading and then having to go through nearly an entire second magazine, that's what it's going to take down an oracle. That is far too much time. Oracle Disruptor is a great perk. I said that it seems like it procs more on the faster rate of firing weapons. That's really not probably accurate at all. Like I said, it's just a feeling like it does, but I believe it's actually an internal cooldown that's consistent across the weapons, and it always does the same amount of damage. So it deals out 3791 damage whenever it ends up proccing. That's just a flat damage on all of the weapons that have Oracle Disruptor. And that's pretty similar to other weapons, like on the Crota's End weapons where you get the Hive Major, where you can deal more damage to Hive Majors. It's the same thing. It's just an extra proc of damage that's just flat across the board. That's what Oracle Disruptor does, and that's why the Vault of Glass weapons are so good for dealing with the oracles. Now, why in the world is Praetus Revenge so bad? If it would have been where I was shooting at the oracle faster, immediately, might I have been able to take down the oracle in one full magazine? That's possible. It's definitely possible, but again, it's not exactly easy to be right on top of the ball and hit the oracle immediately. As you saw with our Praetorian foil clip, we had to be pre-firing and ready to go immediately shooting that oracle. That's really not feasible or legit, so that's not going to happen more often than not. Which means that you're going to probably have to reload with the Praetus Revenge, which is why it's just a terrible option. So again, looking at our options across the board, Found Verdict, absolutely the best whenever you're up close and personal. That thing is consistent and will take down an oracle in 3 shots. Corrective Measure, absolutely phenomenal. Sub 2 seconds, great option. Then whenever we're moving on to our primary weapons, faster rate of fire is better. So Atheon's Epilogue, great. Praetus Timepiece, great. Now Praetus Timepiece will probably beat out the Epilogue if you're dealing with an oracle at range, and the same thing would go for the Vision of Confluence and Fateburner, which roughly tied as far as the time to kill. But again, Vision of Confluence has that extra bonus of being able to hit at a range. So I know this is just kind of an interesting and fun little look in oracles. It's a shame that oracles are so volatile and that they're just not consistent enough where we can say definitively this is exactly the amount of frames that it takes to kill. Unfortunately, oracles have a little bit of variability in health, but still, this will give you at least a general idea. Anyway, guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Check out these awesome videos. Good luck with your raids, your drops, your oracles, and I'll see you around in Destiny. #VoG is the best.